the most accurate 4-question personality test. It's always interesting and fun to learn more about yourself, and what can be a better way to do it than the famous Myers-Briggs Type Indicator? It was created during World War II to help women get jobs and replace the men who had left to fight. After answering several questions, they got a short report according to which they could find the most effective work. Some Western companies still use the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator when selecting candidates for their vacancies. And it's no surprise. This test proved to be effective not only for choosing a job, but also for describing a person. So, grab a piece of paper and a pen and prepare to learn more about yourself. Here is a short version of this test with only 4 questions and 2 answer options to each. The combination of letters will tell you a lot about your personality type, your strengths and weaknesses, and a lot of other stuff that may surprise you. Let's begin. Question 1. You are exhausted because your week was endless and less than great. How are you going to spend your weekend? I'll call my friends to ask about their plans. I heard that a new restaurant opened, a nice comedy is playing in the cinemas, there are big discounts at the paintball club. We should all go out together. I'll switch on the Don't Disturb mode on my phone and stay at home. I'll watch a new episode of my favorite TV show, do a puzzle, and take a long bath with a book. If you chose the first variant, you're an extrovert, so write down the letter E. If the second option is more you, then you're an introvert. Your letter for this one is I. Question 2. Which of these 2 descriptions suits you more? The most important thing for me is what's happening here and now. I assess real situations and pay attention to details. Facts are boring. I love to dream and play over upcoming events in my mind. I rely more on intuition than information. If the first description is 100% you, you are a sensing type, so S is your second letter. The second option stands for an intuitive type of people. If you chose it, put down an N. Question 3. A competitor of your current employer is trying to entice you. You have doubts because the salary is much higher there, but the staff here is great. Moreover, the head of your department hinted that he would recommend you to the bosses when he retires. How are you going to make a decision? I'll learn all the available information about the competitor, ask my HR manager for advice, and draw a chart with all the pros and cons. In such cases, it's important to weigh up all the arguments and assess the situation with a sharp mind. I'll listen to my feelings. I always try to follow my heart. If the first option is your go-to plan in this situation, you are a thinking type, which stands for T. Second variant describes feeling type. It's an F. Question 4. Only 2 weeks are left before your close friend's wedding. How are the preparations going? One month ago, I chose the saxophonist who will play a medley of our school songs, collected the couple's photo love story, composed a poem, pressed to my suit, made appointments with the stylist and makeup master. I prepare to be fully armed. Why prepare? I'll be having fun and enjoying myself at the party. I'll improvise my wedding speech. The best things happen spontaneously. If the first point is preferable for you, you are a judging type, so be sure to put down the letter J. If the second approach seems more attractive to you, you are a perceiving person, which means that your letter is P. So, that's it. Quick and simple, right? Now it's time to find out what is your personality type according to Myers-Briggs. Let's start with the extroverted types. ESTJ, Manager. 11% of men and 6% of women in the world share the same ESTJ personality type with you. Practical and consistent, you like to have order everywhere by planning and organizing everything. But most of all, you like to convince people of your rightness and make them think the way you think. You look at life soberly and, above all, trust facts. You are open for communication, meeting new people, and spending time at parties. You never forget to take care of your close ones and can express your love very well. Your perfect career paths would be a detective, a judge, a teacher, a police officer, or a military leader. Famous ESTJs: Frank Sinatra, Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama, Emma Watson, Henry Ford. ENTJ, Commander. This is quite a rare type. Only 3% of men and 1% of women are ENTJs. Life for you is a struggle and extreme. This is how you know yourself and others. Being risky and brave, you are easily inspired to start something new. At the same time, you assess your abilities, both strengths and weaknesses, quite adequately. You feel new tendencies very well and are open to new ideas. You think positively and adore sport and everything connected to it. Your work ethic is perfect for jobs such as a business executive, lawyer, entrepreneur, university professor, or a judge. Famous ENTJs: Steve Jobs, Jim Carrey, George Clooney, Adele, Bill Gates. ESFJ, Teacher. 17% of women and 8% of men share this personality type with you. You get along with people very well, and you are the life of any party. You are attentive, caring, and always ready to help, even if you have to sacrifice your interest for others. Yet you are very independent in your deals, and, as a rule, you get everything without any side help. You only wait for emotional support from your close ones. The possible career choices for ESFJs include a social worker, teacher, nurse, counselor, and an administrator. Famous ESFJs: Anne Hathaway, Whitney Houston, Taylor Swift, Hugh Jackman, Ed Sheeran. ESTP, Marshall. It's 6% of men and 3% of women that represent the ESTP type. Participation is more important than victory. This is not about you. You strive to reach your goals by any means, even if you have to use physical strength. You stick to an exact plan and you can't stand dependence and compromises. You're a born fighter, very active and self-organized. You can objectively evaluate even the most stressful situation and give a quick and exact response. ESTPs may enjoy having a career as an entrepreneur, a detective, a sales representative, a sportsman, or marketing personnel. Famous ESTPs: Madonna, Jack Nicholson, Donald Trump, Angelina Jolie, Meryl Streep. ENFJ, Mentor. There are only 3% of women and 2% of men of this type in the world. You are emotional and talkative with rich facial expressions and gesticulations. You are very empathetic to other people's emotions, and you can spot even the tiniest insincerity. You are very jealous and distrustful in love relationships. Very often, you are ready to face upcoming events because of your ability to feel them in advance. You take friendships very seriously and always put an effort to stay connected. You take the same approach to your love life too. The ideal career paths for your type include a psychologist, diplomat, writer, politician, and a social worker. Famous ENFJs: Barack Obama, Jennifer Lawrence, Oprah Winfrey, Nelson Mandela, Kate Winslet. ENTP, Inventor. 4% of men and 2% of women are ENTPs. The generator of ideas, you are always seeking to create something new. You adopt to non-familiar environments fast and master different methods of work easily. Due to your dislike of traditions and routine, you very often change your professional spheres and hobbies, becoming an innovator and a pioneer. What is important about you is that not only can you create new ideas, but you are also able to convey them to others and make them come true. If you're an ENTP, your perfect career may be an actor, scientist, photographer, computer programmer, or an entrepreneur. Famous ENTPs: Leonardo da Vinci, Tom Hanks, Robert Downey Jr., Amy Poehler, Salma Hayek. ESFP. Politician. 10% of women and 7% of men share this politician type with you. You can professionally determine the opportunities for your surroundings, and very often, you use this skill to manipulate people. In communication with people, you primarily follow your interests. However, you try to impress everybody and create the image of a simple person. You stand firmly in the present moment and you don't like to waste time. You want quick results, disliking bureaucracy and red tape. Possible career paths for you are a fashion designer, an artist, an interior decorator, a photographer, or a social worker. Famous ESFPs: Marilyn Monroe, Quentin Tarantino, Beyoncé, Pink, Leonardo DiCaprio. ENFP, champion. 10% of women and 6% of men in the world represent this type. You are energetic and inquisitive with creative skills. You combine the features of both introverts and extroverts, which is why not only do you get along with people easily, but you also empathize well. You are very good at advising. You perceive life with all the diversity of its possibilities. You have a rich imagination and a very high IQ. You're a very harmonious person, able to keep the balance even in a very quickly changing environment. As for the career, you would be a perfect writer, teacher, actor, television reporter, or scientist. Famous ENFPs: Oscar Wilde, Walt Disney, Ellen DeGeneres, Jennifer Aniston, Sandra Bullock. Now, let's get to know more about the introverted types. INFP, healer. 5% of women and 4% of men represent the INFP personality group. A lyricist and dreamer, your inner harmony and self-agreement are always in first place. Most of your thinking happens deep inside of you. Nevertheless, you can foresee events and understand people well. You like to dress up and try to look good in all circumstances. You can't be called thrifty, and you often lose the sense of time and reality. You will make a successful career in writing, psychology, music, teaching, and social work. Famous INFPs: Johnny Depp, J.K. Rowling, John Lennon, Kurt Cobain, Lana Del Rey. ISFP, composer. 10% of women and 8% of men are ISFPs just like you are. You can find joy in simple things, handling routine and monotony easily. You like to feel needed, which is why you always help other people but never interfere with their comfort zone. You can't stand conflicts, and you can always entertain people and make them laugh. You're a very down-to-earth, practical, caring, tender, reliable, and faithful partner. You take the world as it is, never trying to lead and manipulate. Your ideal job list includes such professions as a pediatrician, veterinarian, designer, artist, and a counselor. Famous ISFPs: Michael Jackson, Audrey Hepburn, Britney Spears, Paul McCartney, Lady Gaga. INTP, architect. 5% of men and 2% of women of the whole world population are INTPs. An egghead and philosopher, you don't like too much expressiveness. You always seek calm emotions and comfort. You're very careful when making decisions, preferring to analyze and find connections between the past, present, and future. You are very sensitive to changes, and you don't handle them easily. You always try to collect all of your facts, thoughts, and ideas, and that's why you are often very tense. Work-wise, you would make a good scientist, engineer, attorney, mathematician, or photographer. Famous INTPs: Albert Einstein, Charles Darwin, Jane Austen, Jesse Eisenberg, Tina Fey. INFJ, advisor. If you're an INFJ, 2% of women and 1% of men share this personality type with you. This is the rarest MBTI personality type. You are good at sensing people and their relationships. You can easily identify moods and hidden talents, which is why people seek advice from you. However, you are very vulnerable and can't stand aggression and lack of love. Your driving force is intuition, aimed not outside, but inside. This type of person never stops learning, considering self-development to be the main priority. By getting to know yourself, you help others. Your possible career paths are a doctor, a clergy, a teacher, a psychologist, or an artist. Famous INFJs: Agatha Christie, Morgan Freeman, Al Pacino, Cate Blanchett, Benedict Cumberbatch. INTJ, Inspirer. 3% of men and 1% of women in the world are INTJs. You have the richest inner world from where you get your incredible ideas. You strive for excellence and want to improve everything and everybody. However, you have some difficulties in relationships with people, very often distancing yourself intentionally to demonstrate your independence. You can set priorities and trust your intuition. In relationships, you very often make a mistake of distancing yourself intentionally to demonstrate your independence. You're often not that keen on romance, and it may take a long time for you to figure out all these dating details. The greatest career fields for you include such jobs as a business administrator, corporate strategist, organization builder, attorney, or a professor. Famous INTJs: Friedrich Nietzsche, Mark Zuckerberg, Stephen Hawking, Jodie Foster, Colin Firth. ISFJ, Protector. There are generally more women of this type, 19%, than men, 8%. You can't stand falseness and insincerity in relationships. You distinguish strangers and keep them at a distance right away. For the people inside your circle, you do anything and never ask for anything in return. You are observant and very careful with words and deeds. Kind and caring, you see your main goal as helping people and making them happier. You certainly put your whole heart in your family and want your relationships to last a lifetime. Possible career paths for this type are a childcare provider, a pastor, a shopkeeper, an interior decorator, and a firefighter. Famous ISFJs: Queen Elizabeth II, Mother Teresa, Anthony Hopkins, Bruce Willis, Kanye West. ISTP, Handyman. There are 9% of ISTP men and 2% of ISTP women. The handyman, as a rule, has a technical mindset and likes to make things by hand. You don't hurry with taking decisions and think that it is better twice measured than once wrong. However, you always meet deadlines and you are very punctual by nature. You perceive this world through feelings, and your opinion of things happening around you is very objective and specific. By nature, you are communicative, but you will refuse communication once you feel insincerity. Your work ethic is perfect for becoming a police officer, a pilot, a sportsman, an entrepreneur, or a mechanic. Famous ISTPs: Tom Cruise, Stanley Kubrick, Clint Eastwood, Scarlett Johansson, Emily Blunt. ISTJ, Inspector. 15% of men and 7% of women form the ISTJ personality group. Thoughtful, pensive, responsible. You are trustworthy, but you never take things as they are, always analyzing the incoming information. You are not interested in long-term communication and prefer official communication only during companionship. You are aimed at the final result. You like strictness and order, and very often you are pedantic. You don't live in your dreams, only in the here and now. You will make an incredible manager, administrator, detective, military leader, or systems analyst. Famous ISTJs: Sigmund Freud, Sting, Natalie Portman, Robert De Niro, Angela Merkel. So, what type are you? Tell us in the comments section below.
Hey, thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe because more incredible content is on the way.